Morning, Liz. Careers
Morning,
and
Dan.
Coffee,
Careers and coffee.
number 8. I got some coffee going.
Have a smoothie, but careers and smoothie sounds weird. Yeah.
uh, I'll be only on coffee during our careers and coffee chats.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna be on brand then. That's great.
I'll keep it on brand for us. All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to talk about some interviewing, and in particular, what are good questions to ask a potential employer when you're getting interviewed. So at the end of an interview, a lot of times you'll get asked, do you have any questions for us?
Mhm.
And Liz, I'd like to know, what kind of questions would you ask a potential employer?
Okay. So yeah, the end of the interview questions are really good time for you to have your prepared questions that you thought of ahead of time, because at that point your brain's probably going to be fried as a candidate because they've just peppered you with interview questions that hopefully you've prepared for and had great answers to. So at the end, when you have any questions, if you say, no, I don't think I have any questions, you've answered them all, that's okay. That's fine. But be honest, like if you still aren't quite sure what the culture of the company is, asking just a simple question like, how would you describe the culture of the company or the team that I'm going to be working with? And that gives a chance to the employer to kind of reflect back on what their experience is as an employee at that company and how they would describe the culture. So I don't know. That would be one. Culture. Ask about culture. You can ask about, you know, what would my day-to-day job entail if you haven't already had that question answered. And that's a really good sense, gives you a really good sense of like, okay, if I would to get hired at this job, these are activities that I'd be doing on a day-to-day basis. Those are key
Yeah,
ones I would ask.
I like both those questions. One that I've used in the past that almost catches whoever is interviewing me on their toes is, why did you take this job at this company?
Right.
And it just gets them to think a little bit. And a lot of times it does turn into more of like a culture talk, because I feel like that is a driving force behind why a lot of people take positions. Let's switch gears just for a second here and talk about salary negotiations, because
Mhm.
I know we were talking right before this, and right at the end of, say, an initial interview is not quite the right time to start talking salary. Could you go into
Yeah.
more detail?
Okay, so let's just say you've had a good interview with your potential employer, and you near the end and you really want to know, okay, well, how much does this position pay? Um, that's not actually a good time to ask that question. What you really need to determine in that first interview is a company a good fit for you? And are you a good fit for that company? And if those two things are clicking, you're going to have another conversation with that employer when they either make you an offer or you enter into salary negotiation. So it could, if the employer brings it up and they want to talk about it, be prepared for that. But for the most part, the initial interview is not the time that you can talk about salary negotiation, because the employer is considering other candidates most likely for the same position. So what they're going to be doing is evaluating your answers to their questions and your questions to them, compare them to other candidates, and try to determine who is the best candidate to work here. It's a big investment to hire someone. You can make bad choices as an employer, um, and it can be huge. It could have a huge impact on the company. And so while it may feel like, oh, why didn't they pick me? Or they're just being so picky. I just don't have exact skills, but I have close skills, so I should be considered. All those things could go through your head while you're interviewing, but try to keep the perspective of the employer on your mind too, is that they're making a huge financial investment in hiring someone, and it's going to have an impact on their business. And so if you're not quite the right fit, they want to make sure that they find someone who is.
Yeah,
Those are
you
the
could.
things that go into, I mean, I've had to hire multiple times, and that what goes through my head is like, well, I mean, and I like everybody. So it's like, I really like these people and I could see myself working with them, but are they exactly the right fit for our company at this moment and then for our future? Those are the things that I have to consider as a hiring manager. And sometimes you have to make really tough choices because you may have really great candidates to choose from, and you're just trying to determine who is the best candidate, or who did the team click with, and some of the other factors. So there's just so many factors that are beyond just your individual skill set and personality that go into determining who gets that role.
Yeah, I love that. And it's something you can't take personally, right?
It's
As a job
hard.
seeker.
Yep,
And
it's
it
very
is
hard
very
not
tough.
to.
I've described it as kind of like a breakup, right?
Yeah.
Breaking up with a boyfriend or girlfriend or something along those lines, where it's just an uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah.
So
Well, you're on this
um,
blind date, right? With your first
yeah,
interview. You
right.
get your
Yeah.
phone screened. So it's like, okay, I've moved on to the interview. Now we were, I'm a little bit deeper into this relationship. And then they're just like, okay, well, we found another candidate and you're heartbroken. But the way that you can be less heartbroken is think of it as a numbers game. So it's to look at your skill set on your resume. Does it speak to the skills that they're looking for? That's number one, right? And then how many of those positions did you apply for? Because there are a lot of jobs. We're kind of in an upside down state right now in Iowa. There are a lot of jobs that don't have enough candidates. And so it's really a job seekers market. So make sure you're applying for and have lots of choices so that you're kind of in the driver's seat. You have a little bit more control of like, okay, well, I've got interviews with multiple places. One of them's going to pick me, most likely.
Great advice. I love that. Well, as always, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Liz, anything else to add? Otherwise, we're gonna move on from Careers in Coffee 8, and we'll be doing Careers in Coffee 9 next week.
Yeah, we just parting thoughts are everybody has unique skills, right? And every person deserves to find work that is right for them. And so it can be really tough as you go through the interview process and feel like no one sees that about you. So it's your job as a job seeker to understand these are my unique skills and what I can bring to the table, and just kind of rest on those feelings of I know that I have worth for some type of job. It may take me a little while to find the one that I'm looking for that's really right for me. But in the end, we need you to be working in the job that is right for you, because that's where you're really going to help everyone.
You're in the driver's seat as a job seeker.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Liz. It's been a blast. I hope the smoothie treats you well. I'm going to continue on the coffee.
I'm jealous.
We'll see you next week.
All right. Take care.